Alright, welcome back to Undead Unluck, anime review episode number 6. We're reviewing episodes 19 and 21 of the series. We're on, technically, in a way, the last arc of the season. Yeah, because it is. It's the autumn arc. We're doing the first 3 episodes of the 6-episode arc, which, yeah, it's weird enough, it's the longest arc of the season. So, basically, this mysterious book that they're talking about is Fuko's favorite manga, her shoujo manga. That was apparently the longest running shoujo manga ever, according to this series. And this is a universe. Lasts 101 volumes. Which, I only know of about 3 different manga series to have over 100 volumes published. That being JoJo Bizarre Adventure, One Piece, and Case Closed. But of the 3 of them, One Piece and Case Closed have kind of released the volumes here for past 100. Not the case of JoJo. JoJo, I think they just recently released, I think it was part 6 they finally released here. And those are sort of like omnibuses because, like, part 1 was originally released in 5 volumes, but then they did new printing where it's now published over here in 3 volumes. Yeah, they basically shortened it. So, apparently the writer of this book is called Unknown. So, they need to go to contact this person because apparently, according to Julie, she says that this woman's been predicting events that's happened over the course of the series. And Fuko pointed this out, though, that there was times where there were plot holes toward events toward the end of the series where it felt like stuff was missing. So, easy solution to find out how you get context first, because you can go on them as well. So, basically, here's what they do. They create a manga that is based upon what we have here so far in the series, and it's called Undead Unluck. I'm like, that is interesting. Because I have never heard of an actual, like, I've heard this from Marvel Comics do this at times, where they have comic books based upon real life stories. They tease it also in G-Bon, where they made a manga in one of the episodes, and he's going to basically make a G-Bon manga, which of course G-Bon himself approved of that. But this is the first time where the lead character, who is a female by the way, Fuko, creates this manga, but she has her own staff, which is... Now, apparently, because of all the sci-fi stuff, we have Top basically reading the damn thing, which is so funny. Him along with the person, the armor, Tani's read it too. So, basically, everybody chips in. Even Julie herself chips in to create this manga. I think they created like 2-3 chapters, maybe. And the thing is, now she basically asks, like, can I help? And Andy's like, you can go work out. That's what your ability's good for. Okay, so he proceeds to work out shirtless while wearing his Chinese garb. And heck, his assistant basically is allowed to participate. Everybody just chips in to create all this manga. They all do this in a period of like 1 day. And then they submit this to Shueisha. Those of you who are not familiar with Shueisha, Shueisha is a big publisher in Japan, where they publish pretty much a majority of the major manga published in Japan. I think this, because basically Weekly Shonen Jump basically is magazine published in, but Shueisha is a publication. I think they publish Weekly Shonen Jump, if I remember correctly. But this is the first time I could think of where we had Shueisha appear in an anime. Because, yes, they had a spoof of this in Gintama, but Shueisha, though by the way, they had published in English because they wrote the language of the world. But I'm sure probably in the real life Japan, it actually is with the Japanese characters. Which Gotta admit, that was actually pretty smart of them to do that. I mean, I like the fact. I'm sure. Now, the thing is, I've never been to Japan, so I do not know if this actually is based upon the real life Shueisha, because this looks like a regular office building that probably does publish manga, presumably. As for if this is based upon the actual Shueisha building that publishes manga, I have no idea. They say the manga for the Endo manga, we're publishing for 20 years. So I am presuming, given the fact it's the year 2020 in the series, because at the time when this is taking place, basically only about barely a month and a half passed by since the first chapter of the series, where I am presuming this manga first publishing in the year 2000. Also, I think the writer basically, because if you notice, 2020, you know the one thing we do not see in the series, because this was a thing in 2020. I should point this out though, and I am so happy the anime decided not to include this. Here's something interesting though. There is no character who wears an actual mask in the show. None. No mask. I get the fact, yes, that the mask thing has been a thing in Japan since the 60s, but mostly put that's so from sickness per se. Not the case the COVID stuff. Matter of fact, Undead Unluck doesn't even mention COVID at all, which, thank you for that, because basically it's a very dumb topic. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So, they take it to an editor who speaks English, and then they look at the manga. This is interesting, because everybody else speaks English in the show. I'm not sure how it is in the sub, but I'm sure they probably do speak English there too. But they open the drawer where possibly the original raw manga is published, where they have the raw material, and they open up and it's in Japanese. Now, I should point out though, this woman is Japanese and she can't read Japanese, because the universe they had it where they rewrote the language of the world to be just English. That was simply the reason for it. And the red ties that they wear, aside from the fact it can get to public transports, it can also function as a universal translator. And so, yeah, and then the person contacts unknown, which apparently this person is never identified as male or female, because I read apparently it's non-binary, and I'm like, seriously, we're going through this bullcrap again like we did over in Martial Magic and Muscles, where in that show we had a character who's identified as non-binary. And I'm like, in the case of that character, it's clearly a guy. This one, I cannot really tell, because the voice actor is a woman. I read apparently also like in the sub too. Face-wise, it's a woman. It has a physique of a woman. I'm guessing it could be a woman, but they never identified this person, what gender they are. So, and they speak for the first time like, "Oh, can you be in Canada in 5 hours?" And Fuko, who Andy basically comes in the office to, he's supposed to stay outside. Now, in the case of Fuko, she's actually back to the outfit she was wearing when the show first started, her union outfit, though she does have the tie tied at her sleeve, which good on basically for her doing that. And I think she has the emblem, I think it's inside her jacket that she wears. So they had to fly to Canada in 5 hours, because normally to get a normal flight from Japan to Canada is 9 hours. But thanks to Union technology, they're doing 3 hours, and then spend the next 2 hours getting to this particular park. They get to the park, no problem, and then the writer just happens to come across them while they're chatting about this person. Reads the manga, likes it, doesn't like the beginning very much, but it's a good series. She actually kind of enjoys it. And then mentions, oh yeah, Autumn's nearby, and Autumn is basically a spider monster. Yep, a spider monster. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'll save this for later, because I want to get back to that.
Yeah, I was going to play you a comic corner, but I think I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, because I actually have time. So, basically, so they have it where, we have the basically this particular pen, which apparently is an artifact. I've read online this referred to as a G liner. You think about a fountain pen is an artifact? Well, one of the artifacts to have in this series is a freaking book that has teeth. Named Apocalypse. Heck, there's a freaking revolver, which is identified as an artifact. Yes, seriously. So, makes a guillotine, but then of course, we hear somebody. We have somebody who's then. Apparently, Autumn's thing is to cut people, turn the books, read the book, and just, this guy's boring. So, swallow Autumn's person. He's to eat him and swallow him. Don't want to see blood, thank God for that. So, they tried taking the person on, so Autumn proceeds to chop off their arm with a scythe. Where the heck to get the thing, I don't know. Then create an arm based on Andy, so now the person's armless. And then they proceed to take it back to their house. It's okay, look at the house, but there's papers everywhere. So this person's piece of furniture is mostly put her desk, 2 chairs, and that's it. It's just a 2-story house shape of an L, which is kind of weird. It's almost like it's half of a house. You would think this woman would be rich. This person would be rich, given the fact this person's manga was the bestseller, because apparently the original was just 1 volume, but because the book sold so well, that's why it was serialized. But if it took 101 volumes over the course of 20 years, I'm guessing if, let's say, you had and this is my personal guess anyway. So if this thing is published weekly and it lasted 20 years, and I'm guessing it must have had over 1,000 chapters published in 20 years. That's a possibility given the fact that One Piece and Case Close over 1,100 right now, but they're publishing for almost 30 years. So I'm guessing that it's probably about 2,000 chapters, maybe. So then, of course, then this person uses her pen to create, using the thing based on Autumn, to cut into Andy, and he turns into a gigantic book where it starts from the floor of this person's house, goes straight through the person's ceiling, and the book ends in frickin' outer space. And that apparently is his life. But the only reason why it's that long, because it included Victor's life as well. So then they reveal, we have another basically artifact, Soul Calibur, which is named after the video game, which takes Fuko's soul. Which Fuko, by the way, when Fuko was actually wearing she took off her white shirt for some reason, but her soul has it on her for some weird reason. Yeah, this is not really explained. And then shoves her in the book. And then they go back in time to, my guess is late 1865, where we have a guy who's sort of a gunslinger who's basically after kidnapping kids for reasons. And then meet with Andy and a few other people. And they mentioned, the Civil War had just wrapped up. So I'm presuming this is, at this point, it's set either between June to August of 1865. So they basically had a party, basically saving all the kids. And then, they reveal, of course, Fuko reveals them, his left arm says dead man, and his chest says 1865. And he asks, how do you know about my tattoos? She's like, you're naked. You basically love being naked in the future. Well, it mentions, of course, he doesn't know the fact he's undead at this point. He does figure out later on he is undead. So they have a party, and then, of course, they test the unluck by, one poke, and then bird poo pops on Josh's head. Josh is a girl, by the way, which, those of you curious, have you ever heard of a girl who's named Josh? Not really. I've never heard of a girl named Josh. Usually a guy's name, Josh. I've heard a woman's name for Bobby, which is also named for Guy, but Josh? Seriously? So her real name is Joshua? Or whatever people call it is. It just kind of perplexing to me. So then Andy's crew is all killed by the kidnappers, which of course they coerced the saloon lady to participate, who by the way is wearing an apron that says sunflowers on it. I wonder if this woman is possibly a distant relative of the woman they met during the spoiler arc, which that would be interesting, but it's never revealed here. So then Andy proceeds to kill the guys, and of course Fugo hangs out there for a while, explains the whole thing. Of course, he gets right away what the unluck is. Like, oh yeah, one guy gets basically doused in beer, the other one gets their chair broken because that's an unluck. And then apparently Andy reveals, oh yeah, his earliest memory is, get this, April 15th, 1865. Excuse me. Which is exactly 123 years before I was born. Yes, 123 years. I was born in 1988. So then Fuko is, after learning this, she goes presumably back in time. She just is in some area. And that's it. That's pretty much the 3 episodes in a nutshell. Really good. And I'm going to go straight to do the last 3 episodes just to cap this off. Because I have 3 more to go in and I'm done with Undead Unluck. I'll be able to start my next series really soon, okay? So yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. Next up, my last video for now for Undead Unluck. Okay? See you. Bye.